it foggy outside. All the planes have been grounded. Ain't the fire inside? Let's all go stand around it. Funny, I've been there, and you've been here. We ain't had no time to drink that beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sandman podcast. I am your host, Brian W. Tosh, joined as always by our resident hack checker, Oliver Fullington.
Yep.
Our producer and co-host, El Hilo del Hack, Tyler Fullington. And the man whose stories got stories, the hardcore icon. He's got 99 problems, but bananas ain't one. The Sandman Hack. How the hell is it going today?
When did you come up with that? I love that.
I came up with it, I don't know, the other day.
That's hilarious.
Throwing that curveball.
What a great day. I'm not living in 95-degree heat anytime I even dare step outside of my house, so that was nice. But it's a great day because I watched what we're going to talk about, and damn was I on.
Yeah, you were, but I have to rip you first here, Hack.
Oh, yay.
Saturday, we had such a great afternoon at the Phillies game, a great tailgate. Ollie, Ty, a lot of our buddies, everybody down at the tailgate in the link. And guess who couldn't make it, Hack, because the weather was too hot?
Okay. How old am I again?
You're 61.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, freshly 61.
Yeah, dude, there is no reason for me. These guys left the house at 11:30 a.m., so that means they're at the stadium by 12:30, absolutely max.
No, we were at the stadium at like
noon.
Yeah, like
I said 12:30 max. You know what I mean? No, dude, I can't. And then they stayed after that for the concert afterwards. I can't. And got home at what? Were you guys home by 11? You were.
I got home a little later. I was like home like 11:30.
Yeah, wait a minute. What did you do? I texted you. You got a condom because I figured you're getting laid because you didn't come home with Oliver and with Ty and Pat. What did you actually do after the game?
I went to the casino.
I know, with your ex-wife. That sounds like somebody is trying to get laid by his ex-wife.
Not married.
Mother of your kids, it's the same thing.
Baby mama.
Man, he's really airing you out, Ollie.
It's the same thing. Although I do love that he has a relationship with her and things are copacetic because I screwed up things so bad with their moms, Ty and Oliver's moms, that you couldn't even barely talk to each other, you know what I mean? So I do love that, but I would have rather had a good story.
Okay, well.
Like him rolling in because we play softball at 10 a.m. on Sundays. I'm figuring out he's rolling in at like 8 o'clock a.m. just coming off a lovely evening.
Okay. Well,
but it disappointed me, too.
I hope you got lucky in the casino. I'll just leave it at that.
What did you do?
Or
Did you even
elsewhere.
bet?
Yeah.
I played a little blackjack.
Okay, all right. Did you win, or?
Yeah, spent like $50.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, then you go in, dude. And I hate casinos. I'd much rather bet on
Because I
sports.
had cash on me, so I'm like, all right, I'll just like use
This is what I'm
whenever.
using, and
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, always set a limit. That's the move. I don't blame you, Hack, though. Saturday was so hot. I rolled out after the 8th.
Oh, you just burned me, and now you're going right now. You're like,
All right. They said it was 100, but it
yeah, it was great. There was wind or whatever, but either way, I'm not leaving this house at 11 a.m. and showing back up at 11 at night. It's impossible for me.
That's
I can't
a
do
long
it.
day.
Well,
In that heat, I don't care if it's not like the heat index was 100, but if you're in the shade, there's a fan blowing on you. All right, it's down to 94 and a half.
Yeah. Well,
I just can't live outside for that long.
as long as you have your trusty umbrella that we put the picture up of.
No, it's a parasol.
Yeah, parasol.
It's a parasol, not an umbrella.
Did you have it out yesterday as well?
Yeah, but because the game was earlier, so we had a little bit of shade until the second game started. Because we play against like a warehouse. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I only had to bring the parasol out for like the last 4 innings.
Did you guys kick ass yesterday? Or
Yep, 2 wins.
Took more names, baby.
Okay.
We're going for the 3-peat.
All right, let's get it. All right, that's awesome. Guys, I know, Hak, you had the chance to watch last night the A&E biography on Rob Van Dam. Any thoughts on that? Or
Well, one, besides that, he's way better than I ever remember him. You know what I'm saying? And I want everybody to watch it, and we'll do like a whole show about it. But I didn't really realize it in my head, even before I watched the show, that when RVD and Sabu got pulled over smoking a joint, that derailed the whole situation in ECW and WWE.
You're talking about the sci-fi run, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what we could have done then? Rob's holding 2 strong belts right there. You know what I'm saying? So that could have been like a. Was SmackDown even around then?
Yes, Raw, SmackDown, and
well,
ECW
we could have been that other like Third Avenue or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Rob's holding 2 straps right there. The company's believing in him. You know what I mean? And then this happens. You take off 1 strap one night, 1 strap the next night. Wow! Like literally in 1 weekend, he lost both of those straps. And
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's a long time ago, but I think, people's perception about, Bud is a lot different than it was back then as well. I mean, still getting pulled over is getting pulled over and everything, but I don't know if a top guy in WWE had a similar offense today, if they would take a belt off him. I'm not really sure.
Well, what's her name had it? Who's the girl that got caught in Florida?
Liv.
Yeah, Liv had it. Doesn't she got a strap now?
Yes, that's what I mean. I mean, I think public perception a lot of times when it comes to marijuana
Dude,
is a lot
she
different.
didn't even have a medical marijuana license.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how nondescript it even is now.
Yeah.
And Rob was kind of explaining like how his thought process back then was like everybody's allowed to drink alcohol and everything like that, and that's way worse for you than
And all the
smoking.
top.
Well, he had
companies.
also said that I think maybe not getting pulled over, but getting caught or something before, and nobody in WWE ever saying anything about it. But since he has,
They let him put it over on interviews. Oh, I just smoked you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were letting him portray that, but
Who in management didn't know?
Yeah,
let's be real. It's not like
right, but he was
we
just
take
saying
it
But
like
all of us were smoking.
yeah, and he was just saying that it became public, not like TMZ had it in like 6 hours. So like that just perception of the company is just a little bit different than now.
Yeah, definitely check out that A&E biography. Heck, I know
Yeah,
you're-
please watch it because I want to
was
hear
awesome.
what everybody else thinks about it, like other perspectives than somebody that's not in the business.
Yeah. Coming up here on the show this week, we reviewed ECW's Barbed Wire, Chokeslams,
What a
and
beast
Hoodies.
I was.
You were. We'll get to you in a while here, bud. But this is like one
half
of
a
my.
star.
Already
Wow.
burying him out of the gate, burying him. Come on.
Just kidding.
Well, yeah, we'll
Right up there with Gorgeous George last week.
So this, first of all, one of my all-time favorite show names, ECW's Barbed Wire, Chokeslams, and Hoodies.
I
mean, that's-
hated it.
You don't like that
I
show?
don't get the hoodies. What was the hoodies?
Me either. I don't understand.
They're the Public Enemy. Everybody's rocking hoodies back then.
I didn't see them wearing a hoodie.
That debut of the Gangsters.
But yeah, man, it's just that people were wearing hoodies back then in the 90s. I don't know.
But yeah, I guess
People are still wearing hoodies
Yeah.
today.
I'm
Yeah.
just throwing something out there. I don't
Well,
really know.
yeah,
but
I don't know. Weren't
that's
people
probably
always
it
wearing
more
hoodies?
than the
No, I
public
think
enemy.
hoodies are like a 90s thing. I don't think hoodies existed before the 90s. I think hoodies are a 90s thing. And we certainly saw a
I
lot of
don't know.
chokeslams.
I am
Hoodies
an-
a 90s thing?
I am an 80s baby.
So am I. I think hoodies are a 90s thing. Heck, do you remember hooded sweatshirts in the 80s
No,
and 70s?
they were
I
not-
hated them.
No, the only
Because-
No, but were they around?
Did
Were
they
people wearing
exist?
them in the 80s?
Oh, I don't know, but I didn't.
Okay.
No, they were way more prevalent now. That like all those college pullover hoodie things and all that. No, dude, they were not prevalent
what
when
were like
I
the
was.
first like
younger.
popular like hoodies were like what, like the Gap sweat, like the Gap hoodies.
Those were very big, yeah.
Like, and that was 90.
Yeah.
That
I
was
think
90.
hoodies
Those
are a
the
90s
first
thing.
ones
No,
that-
but now they're like way huger to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're
Well,
all
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
I can't
Huger?
wear something I gotta pull over my head like that.
You don't like a
Unless
hoodie?
It's a t-shirt.
Okay, not a hoodie fan. But what about Chokeslams? Because we saw a ton of them on the show. I do have a couple notes from the Wrestling Observer leading into this show. During this time, there was a lot of...
Who's the Observer?
That's Meltzer.
Okay.
Okay. Just for future reference, the Torch is Keller. The Observer is Meltzer. You'll never remember this. I don't know why I'm telling
I
you.
know, but it's not for me. It's for the people that are
I don't
listening.
know why.
When you say the Torch, say that guy's name. When you
Okay.
say this, say that guy's name.
The Wrestling Observer newsletter by Dave Meltzer. The first note is from June 12th, 1995. There were a lot of rumors going around regarding the ownership of ECW, which was owned 50% by Todd Gordon and the other 50% by Paul Heyman. Both,
No, that 50, that's a bunch of crap.
well, I'm going to get to some of these things here. Both Heyman and Gordon are looking for investors, and both seem to expect a new deal will be finalized within 1 week. Gordon has said that 90% of the debuts have already been, or the debts have already been paid off, and the total of debts outstanding is now less than $15,000. Do you remember anything about the financial state of the company?
No, that's bullcrap. And then we're going to tell everybody else that me and Todd had 2 other investors, but we didn't know that Paul Lee was so embedded with Vince that he could have definitely cashed out.
We're talking in 95, though. Is this...
Well, I would say right around there, yeah. Oh, well, we didn't go under until 2000, right?
2001 is when you went
Yeah,
under.
okay, so Todd did have some money
Okay.
back in them days, and then there was somebody else after that.
Okay. In the 619 Observer the following week, he did say that we need to make 2 major corrections from last week's issue. On page 8, the line about HHG being a company now owned by Paul Heyman should have read not owned, changing the meaning of the sentence completely. So this is Meltzer.
It's his dad's company.
Okay, this is Todd or
No,
Paul's company?
HHG
Paul.
is his father.
Okay, so basically Paul Heyman's parents owned ECW. Basically. Okay. Todd told us that contrary to rumors, he would not be running opposition to Heyman. Do you remember anything regarding like a falling out between Paul and Todd dating back to 95?
there was, but and I don't. It's like Todd was probably telling me back then, but I didn't realize like that when things were going bad and Paul was basically embezzling ECW from Todd. Because here's the deal. Todd at one point said, hey, we're going to be partners, right? So if you're partners and you want to bring a guy in to buy the company and your other partner says no, then you're not going to do it. But by embezzling the company, I mean, Todd and Paul made a partnership agreement. Paul said, screw you, Todd. I got this other investor and he doesn't want you. The other investor is Paul Lee himself using his parents' money, and his parents' money was HHG. That's exactly how it went down.
So he basically siphoned the company from Todd.
Embezzled the company from Todd.
Wow. Okay.
Because if Todd should have gotten something out of that.
Right.
HHG actually bought the company. I don't know about the number. It could have been 1 cent.
He should have got 50% of
Something.
whatever. Right?
Yes.
So just
But
to-
it being a fiduciary responsibility of being in a partnership is if somebody's buying it, you're not supposed to be the person that's buying it.
yeah. No, that makes tons of sense
That's why
to
it's
me.
embezzlement.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it sounds like. Now, Meltzer also stated, this isn't to say things are running smoothly at ECW. There is a tremendous behind-the-scenes turmoil, and nobody is exactly clear as to what's really happening. The story we're being
The only
told...
turmoil was anybody getting paid or anything. There was no turmoil among the boys.
Okay. The story we're being told is that Heyman is running the show right now and appears to be his company, no matter who or what HHG really is. He's making him laugh right now. This is...
Yeah, I know, but these are the dudes that write the sheets that people listen to all over the planet back then.
Right.
These were the first guys of the sheets that even the Japanese, the Europeans, they would listen to these dudes.
Right.
But they were totally so wrong.
And this is Paul telling his narrative through the sheets. Okay, so here we go. I got your version. I got Todd's version.
No,
kind
my version's right.
Right. No, I'm not disagreeing with you, Hack. I'm saying this is just what's in the sheets from the time. Heyman supportedly has an investor who has made an offer to buy Gordon's 50% of the company. That figures have gone back and forth regarding to negotiations, but no deal has been completed at press time. Gordon himself was looking for investors to stay involved, but indicated by the end of the week that was less likely to happen. Gordon will probably remain doing some office work and in his figurehead commissioner role on television, whether he retains ownership or not. At press time, the company's checks are still being from HHG, but that is supposedly a temporary situation. Several are also claiming that Gordon's claim of debts have been paid off to the point that the company's debt is down to $15,000.
Never once has Gordon been everything that he sunk into there. It wasn't. He didn't have debts because Todd was paying for everything. He wasn't borrowing money for people to pay it. He came from a prestigious family. His dad was the first jeweler ever on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. He came from money. Todd was the president of the fourth largest. It was Variety Club. What do you call them things?
I'm not really.
No, Variety. Dude, I can't believe I'm.
Variety Club.
No, when you set up money for like an organization. Variety Club. Come on, you guys are killing me.
I'm drawing a blank here too. I know Ty Holly.
I'm thinking.
What's the one? If you have Cancer Society and you give money to something.
A charity?
Yes.
Okay.
Todd was with the Variety Club. Todd was the president of the fourth largest charity in the United States when he was doing this. He wasn't borrowing money from everybody. It was all straight out of his bank account.
Yeah, and I would implore all of our listeners to pick up Todd is God if you want an actual factual version of the events that went down with the formation of ECW and all of these backstage segments. Because, look, the sheets are clearly written by certain people that have agendas, and whoever gets to tell them to sources. Sometimes they're vetted and everything, but everyone has a version of their own events.
Never vetted.
Everyone has their own version of events. And I would say Todd's version definitely deserves a voice.
Just so you know, his book, he literally talked to that guy for I think it was 43 hours of stuff, and Todd's like that's like 1/20th of what we talked about.
Yeah.
So there'll be another book and another book, depending on the interest factor.
Now, just some interesting things going on with the company. Back to the locker room version.
And Todd was great friends with Paul's mom.
Oh, man.
Todd talked to Paul's mom every day.
That was, just to say about that kind of the falling out between the two. It was pretty disappointing, I think, with Paul's Hall of Fame speech that he didn't even acknowledge or mention Todd. I thought that Todd should have got acknowledgement in that Hall of Fame speech. I think there's a lot of fans out there that don't know the real history and don't know all of it. And I think Paul, probably should have mentioned it, at least, regarding of their relationship.
I thought he did for like a year.
I thought he might have said thanks to Todd Gordon, but
as far as I remember, he did not mention Todd Gordon during his speach. And if I'm wrong, correct me on it. Twitter, please call me out.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I kind of think he did, but I'm not 100% on that.
There's also a couple of other notes that I found pretty interesting around this time. Chris Benoit had a tryout with the WWF at this time. Was there any locker room talk about Benoit jumping to WWF at this point, Hak, that you remember?
No, but didn't he jump with everybody else and they left Shane behind?
That's in 2000 when they jumped to WWF from WCW. So that you're thinking of when...
Okay, whatever. That's all I can remember.
You're thinking they left two people behind. So Benoit, Eddie... Dean and Perry wanted nothing to do with Kevin Sullivan when he got the book back from WCW after Russo was ousted and Kevin Sullivan was put back in power. They gave Benoit the belt for one night, and he, vacated the belt and said, "I want out of the company." There was also a part where I believe Mike Graham.
Who cares? I'm not talking about that. When those guys jumped from ECW to WCW, Shane was supposed to be with them.
No, you're thinking of when they were supposed to go to WWF. Shane at this point...
Did they go to WWF?
Yes, in the year 2000.
All right, so I'll tell you the story. He was on the phone with like Dean or one of them.
Yes, he was.
And they totally lied. Dean's like, "No, I'm at my house.
Yes.
I'm not in Connecticut."
Yes, this is the story you're thinking of. Yeah, in 2000. They did not... They had to kayfabe it from from Shane Douglas because he wasn't allowed, or WWF didn't want him at the time. There's also a note regarding Shane Douglas here. He's kind of in talks with WWF at this point in time and jumped ship. The interesting thing to me is that he has a regular job as a history teacher in Pittsburgh and wrestles only on the weekends. Do you remember anything about Shane Douglas being a history teacher?
Yeah, I knew he was a history teacher.
Okay.
But he still doesn't know much about history as I do, especially American history. I crush him in American history.
All right, so you destroyed.
Dude, we've had a lot of car rides together.
You must learn this, you piece of shit.
You fat piece of shit.
Sandman, it wasn't this guy.
I love Shane Douglas. Are there any wrestlers out there that had like interesting real jobs and just wrestled on the weekends that you can remember? Anybody who had like a really
No, we never really talked about it.
Nobody ever talked about their job. I don't know. That was just something that came to my mind.
I mean, everything only came about him apparently being like a carpenter or whatever when he built the scaffold or the cross and then the scaffold. And
yeah, but everybody knew I was making money outside of the business, way more than inside the business until like 2000.
Okay, awesome. Getting into the show proper here, the first match on the show, this was the Broad Street Bully against the New Jersey Devil.
Dude, was that Nova?
No, this was the Broad Street Bully was Tony Stetson.
Yes, I know Tony. I love
and the
him.
New Jersey Devil was... I don't know who the Jersey Devil was. I'm looking him up on
Kind of
Cage Match.
half-ass look like Nova. Did you guys think that?
I don't think it's not Nova because he would be listed in Cage Match if it were. So I'm not really sure.
He
who
didn't
it is.
look like really recognizable to me.
Doesn't say anybody.
Yeah, if anybody knows who the New Jersey Devil was, or if you're listening to New Jersey Devil, let us know because you definitely got your ass kicked by 911.
And I do believe in the New Jersey Devil, just so you know. Absolutely.
This was based
Do you
on.
guys know about that? That the New Jersey Devil is actually something that is like Bigfoot or
You were telling me the
aliens.
story when we were going to Frankie Edgar's house about how they actually
And they're
believe
right
that there's,
around
like,
there.
a devil. Like
Okay.
And the Pine Barrens there.
there's like that's why the team's called New Jersey Devils because they're at, I don't
There
know what
must
did you
be
say?
something to it. If you're going to actually name your team or whatever, like 50 years ago, maybe the Devils have
Yeah,
been
it's
around.
like some urban legend about.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it ain't urban legend. There's pictures.
All right, so if you're
I've
ever
seen 'em.
if you're ever
I've
in the
met
Pine,
one.
if you're ever in
I
the
talked
Pine
to 'em.
Barrens, look for the Russian
worked
from The
them.
Sopranos
I think
and
I
New
saw.
Jersey
I think
Devil.
I saw it with Oliver in the casino after the Phillies game Saturday night. The New Jersey Devil. He was going home with it.
So this was brought on because the Devils beat the Flyers in the Eastern Conference Finals that year, 4-2, and then they went on to win the Stanley Cup in '95.
That was
Obviously,
a good team, though.
oh, really good team.
Well, and didn't they
Brodeur
have-
was awesome.
Were they the ones that figured out? Were they the triangle, original triangle?
The trap.
They were
yeah,
the trap.
the trap, the triangle, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you couldn't two-line pass back then, and they would just trap the shit out of you.
Yeah, so we were certainly very salty in Philadelphia at the time. This was a nothing match that just existed for 911 to come out and kill them. 911 was an absolute god in 1995 ECW during this
No,
run.
it wasn't.
The
Not
fans,
yet.
The fans loved him. They're going nuts for him.
Okay. When you watch stuff, you're watching 911. Paulie was over more than 911. The whole segment.
Okay.
The whole segment. They weren't chanting 911 until the very end before Paulie got out of the ring and looked at him and made the fans recognize him. And then they charted later on. I'm not saying it could be totally different, like 2 months from then. You know what I mean? But 911 was nowhere near as over as he was like before he wrestled around Sevens.
Okay.
Just saying, Paulie was more over than 911 was.
Paulie was certainly a very established character at this point, national and stuff too. But 911 always interests me too because I've heard Kevin Sullivan talk about this, and 911 was a really big influence and part of the inspiration on the Bill Goldberg character and the way that they booked him in WCW. Just booking somebody super, super strong, just coming out and killing people. So I've always thought that was interesting. Hack, do you think in 1995, if 911 had chokeslammed Rich Kotite, that the ECW arena would have exploded?
Oh, the roof might have collapsed. I mean, seriously, the roof might have collapsed.
I'm just thinking of people in 1995.
Well,
that-
first of all, Jerome Brown grabbed him around the neck in a practice.
Yeah.
They had to hold him back from like punching him out. He was the clueless.
He was the
He was
worst.
the most clueless freaking coach there was. And the crazy thing was that Wellington Mara loved him so much that he hired him for the Jets
I know.
after that.
And they were so bad.
Can you believe I can remember that name, Wellington Mara?
That's a great pull by.
Did you know the name?
Yeah, it's
When I
a Jets
said it?
owner. Yeah, it's a good
Is
pull.
he still there?
No, he is not.
Thank
Well,
God.
no, just the family. I meant.
Yeah, I think the Mara family.
I
We'll have
think
to
so.
hack check that
I
one.
think so.
It's like L.A., you know what I mean? In Georgia.
Yeah,
But thank God I never had to see Kotite as an Eagles
God,
fan.
he was bad. I was young, but he was bad. He was really, really bad. And they had some really good players back then too.
Dude, we had the best defense against the run. We had the best defense against the pass in 1 year.
It's insane.
Never been done ever again.
And on the other side of the ball, you got Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, but never looked at a playbook.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Oh,
and like
coach
we
never made him.
and we never won a Super Bowl, like we said last week, dude. We're beat up.
we're losers.
Yeah, seriously.
The fog bowl,
We're pissed
though,
off.
The fog bowl screwed us.
Okay. We're going old school.
That was our team, and then the fog. That was the night Ty was conceived.
Oh, hey now.
It was New Year's Eve.
Up next on the show, this was an interesting match. This
Oh,
was
wait a minute. Let me go back. What were we
Okay.
just talking about here?
We're talking about-
The Jersey
We're talking
Devil
about
versus
the
the
Jersey
Broad
Devil
Street
versus the
Bully,
Broad Street Bully.
and then 911
All right,
came out
first
with
of all, I
Bully.
didn't like Al coming out jogging. A dude that's huge, that he's that huge, you take the slow saunter to the ring. You know what I mean? You're not jogging out there for any reason.
I agree with you, but Paulie kind of set that up the way Paulie came out because
Well,
he came
Paulie's
out.
in
he
a
was-
quick pace.
but he was doing like the wave thing, like waving his arm, like "Come on, get him." You know what I'm
good
saying?
point.
I'm just.
Yeah.
It
But
was
to
kind
me,
of a
the
little,
Giants
but I
don't.
agree with
the
you.
Giants don't jog.
Giants
and
don't
then the
jog.
other
I love
thing
that
is,
rule.
never seen this before. When I don't know, after the first or second choke slam on the Devil, Paul gets down on one knee and he does this thing. What's that called?
the crucifixion.
The
Well,
Hail Mary or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't. I'm
Father,
like
The
that.
signs of the
Son,
cross.
Father,
But you
Son,
know
Holy
what you do in
Spirit.
church when you
Yes.
kneel down and you do that?
Father, Son,
Paul
Holy
did it
Spirit.
over him, and I had never seen that before. You know what I mean? You just don't do that. That's like, yeah, you're dead, dude.
He was
Oh, and
certainly
then the
dead.
other thing was the sign "In Paul We Trust." Did you even notice that, dude? And anybody in that locker room at that point, and that's the only reason why I made the note, was any single person in the back could have been holding up that sign because we all trusted him. He was our David Koresh, whatever you want. Take whatever cult leader that you want to, Applegate or whatever. But every single person could have been holding that sign in the back because we were believing that much.
That's awesome.
And it worked out right. We believed in it, and it's still here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They were chanting on SmackDown the other night.
Yes, they were. In 2024, they're chanting for ECW. Up next on the show was Val Pachuco versus Mikey Whipwreck. Any memories of this guy, Val Pachuco? I don't really know a whole lot about him. Okay.
No, the only thing about this is it's creating Mikey's arc more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, it's like, did Spike steal the Giant Killer before Mike, like right after Mikey? You know what I'm saying? Because Mikey, in the originally he's coming out to I'm a loser baby, and all he would do is get the crap beat out of him to literally a point where his mother said, if I see this again on TV, I'm throwing you out of the house. It's like, you know, Mikey's like a 19-year-old kid, and the mom thinks he's getting killed. He got thrown out of his house because he was doing this stuff.
Well, wasn't he like just somebody that was like putting together the ring?
Well,
And
yeah,
he-
but that's how you start. Like,
Right.
if you're on Taz's crew, you start putting the ring together, and who knows how tough Taz was. Like, you might have to put the ring together for a year before he even before he would even consider like training you. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
a lot of those guys, like the Dorings, the Chatties, the Roadkills, a lot of them.
And I
guys
think
came
Paul
out
like
of it.
just saw him like messing around in the ring the one time, like that on downtime, and was like, "Yo,
Yeah,
who's
but
this
the
kid?" or
loser
something?
baby with the song, it's like, how brilliant do you have to be when you hear that hot song on the radio and you're like, yeah, that's going to be this dude, and he's going to come out to that.
perfect. Just seriously
You
perfect.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he gets his ass killed, but then this is like his transition from getting his ass killed to like a little bit of a giant killer, as in to work your way up the card, even to me and him even having the belt.
Yeah. No, I mean,
You know what I mean? That was like the beginning of that right there.
Yeah.
And you could tell by the crowd was behind him then.
Oh, they were.
They didn't care about the big fat dude.
Well, they
I
were
don't even know
chanting,
the
kick
dude's
his ass,
name.
Mikey, kick his ass.
Yeah, and I like the 5 ball shots.
So Mikey got laid out really early in the match. He did a really great job selling the right arm and the shoulder, and then he just got in a ton of ball shots, like you said, and picked up the W. I mean, it was what it was. It was like a...
Yeah, but you notice why he sold that shoulder? Because the second push off, or if they did 3, whatever, the last push off when they locked up, Mikey intentionally, instead of taking the back bump, he took the bump on that shoulder. When it happened, I'm like, Mikey, why did... And I'm like, well, maybe he was just trying to be like he's ragdolling him, you know what I mean? But that was intentional on the last push off for Mikey to land on that shoulder.
Well, it was certainly great selling, and for only like a little 3-minute, like, I mean, it's not a squash match. It was just kind of whatever, but I enjoyed
Yeah,
Mikey's
it really
work.
was a squash match, though.
But I enjoyed Mikey's work in him, and Mikey was...
I mean, 3 push-offs and home.
Yeah, 3 push-offs and home.
I think they were in the ring before they even touched longer than the actual match.
Yeah, I know we watched last week Van Hammer. I think Val Pachuco probably better than Van Hammer.
Greater than
Than symbol Van Hammer.
I
Yeah,
agree, Tosh. I'm with you on that one.
fuck you, Van Hammer. Sorry.
Van Hammer was tough to watch.
Yo, Van, man. I'm sorry, bro. Sorry, Van Hammer. I don't mean to bury
somehow
you.
you take 5 ball shots and you're better than somebody else.
Yeah, Val Pachuco definitely higher. Where do you think he ranked on the PWI 500 this year?
The only thing I wished would have been different in that is after I guess it was like the DDT he took him. I wish it took Mikey a little bit more to like push him over. I don't know if you saw that, like he rolled him over for the pin, like kind of like. I wish Mikey did like a spin in his wheels.
That would have been cool, like he's stuck in the mud.
Yeah, like trying to like push him up, like
Yeah,
trying to like.
a little cartoon comedy right there.
But like he is
Pick
so.
it up, but it makes sense.
Like
It's
Mikey
like
shouldn't
one
just be able.
size.
Yeah, Mikey shouldn't just be over to like roll that dude over for a pin. Like I would
That's
like,
a great point. Like
Yeah.
try it, and be like turn on your back, and
or like
push off the
or
road.
like have Finnegan help you like push him over. You know, like what they would do, something like that.
All right,
Like,
so what was the move for the finish? I just want to ask you guys.
it was the DDT.
Yeah, it was the DDT.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you trying to prove a point here about something about the show?
Later on.
Okay, all right. You always ask questions for a reason.
Yeah, no, there was
This
a
is how
couple.
Yeah, more than a couple. Up next on the show was Hak Myers versus the Vampire Warrior.
Shit.
So this is David Heath going with his Vampire Warrior gimmick,
I
Gangrel.
forgot that was his name.
Yeah, there you go. Shoot names.
He's a
have been
great
uttered.
dude.
Dude, when I
Great
saw
dude.
when I was looking at the match card, I'm like Vampire Warrior. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And then you see the graphic for the card on Peak, and I'm like, oh, I know who that is.
Yep. So this was basically another squash. The crowd did the Shaw shit routine. Vampire Warrior did hit a really nice splash to the outside off the top rope. Yeah. And let out that sound when he did it. I thought that was really awesome. And then, I don't know, they pretty much just went home. Warrior did take some nice bumps for Myers for his lone run of offense. And then Gangrel, man, he has such a great DDT.
Warriors Gangrel, just so you know.
Yes,
we
I'm
just
sorry.
don't do
Yeah,
the
the
same
Vampire
person.
Sorry,
Warrior.
Vampire Warrior.
I don't know the war. I would never call him.
You would call him Gangrel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't call him anything. I was like, dude, great to see you. You don't need to just call him.
Let me suck your blood.
So then he hit him with the DDT, and that was it. Pretty much like a nothing match, but it was just used to get Warrior Gangrel over for the match with Tommy that followed this. So following the match,
Hold on. What was the finish?
it was a DDT.
Okay.
He's got a point to prove here. So then afterwards, Warrior and Stevie Richards do a promo with Dreamer coming out, and Vampire.
Dude, honestly, Stevie is so young and so green, but he plays a character perfectly. Mm-hmm. Like Joey's like, yo, JoJo, like little shit. He played the geek like great.
I have that in my notes.
And
But
he's not really like back in the day we would call him a geek because like him and Nova were like into computers and like video games like back in the day. You know what I mean? That was a geek then. But what Stevie took it to like a totally different level, and a lot of guys, it's hard for them. All right, let's say I'll give you a perfect example. Dusty Rhodes goes to WWF. The next thing you know, he's doing that character. You know what I'm saying? Then they're bringing the black lady out with him. He's doing the dance and everything. He's like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to get over whatever it is. You know what I mean? And that's Dusty Rhodes. So with Steve, he was so young, and I don't know, it was probably Raven that smarted him up, but Stevie just, people need to understand how really great he was in his role as a super lackey.
yeah, like
A super lackey.
as a stooge and doing all those things as a flunky.
He was great.
He was absolutely perfect because you're just there as a
Great
leader.
on the mic.
Right. And
Super kick, like God. One of
Yeah.
the best super kicks in the business.
whenever he was used, like for spots or if he had to do a match, for promos, angles, like he delivered pretty much every single time in this role. And he was
great.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Hack. At this point, he's straight up new in the business at this point.
Yeah.
He's very green.
He's as green as Francine is.
Oh, we'll get to Franny later, too.
I know,
which is-
but basically about that.
Which is insane because it's like you're taking these really, really raw performers, you're mixing them in with some veterans who know what they're doing, and then they're delivering. Like they're really just being thrown in the
Take the
deep end
ball
of the
and run.
pool. You know, it's like it's
Take
really
the ball
impressive.
and run. And it's great. And Paul's like all of it.
The mad scientist
You know,
putting
he
it
just
together.
sees somebody walking in the door. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this with this person and this and this." It's just like there.
Yeah,
Dude, and he was even, and a year later was the angle where I came in, and dude, he was spot on, like helping me so much, putting me in spots, like whatever.
Well, the whole crew. Like I told you guys
Nova,
before.
Meanie, all that, like, dude, but they were
it's-
on point, everything.
Stevie never missed a spot
Yep.
ever. Nova never missed a spot.
Meanie.
Yeah, never missed a spot. And their spots just weren't that. When they were doing this, one of them had a job to take care of Ty while the other ones were doing this. The other one would take that spot, go outside, take over Ty, and the other one would do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, like, it's like those, and then there was the Booker Picker moron too. But you got to understand that there's 5 guys in the ring there, maybe 6 with the referee, and we're pulling off like 150 things in a row. And I was thinking about this today when I was watching the Scotty thing later, that me and Scotty never had to talk because we both had great memories. We just didn't have to talk. None of us. Everybody's memory was great. And I'm trying to fucking. I had to actually stop the tape and like think about it. And I'm like, we just knew. We just knew there wasn't any talk.
Instinct.
Yeah, it would just happen, and everybody was confident in everybody that everybody knew their spot.
Yeah.
And we never screwed up. It was like freaking amazing.
Dude, I remember
got chills right now.
literally sitting in the back, like with all of us putting together, like, because I would be sitting there listening to everything that's going on, like so much stuff that it's like 8 of us in a circle,
Literally.
just literally putting everything together, boom, boom, and it was like, all right, that's it, one and done. Like, okay, that's it.
So-
and you went out there and boom, nailed it.
I want to ask you, Hack, at this point with the creative here, obviously Paulie's got a large say.
No, it's every side.
Okay.
Literally every side.
So that's what I want to ask you about. Like, in the creative for this, is this Raven getting this in? Is this Tommy getting a voice in? Or is this all Paulie?
No, right now it's all Paulie at this point, like Dreamer's Paulie's boy, Taz is Paulie's boy, I'm Todd's boy, but coming off of moving my way up, you know what I mean? So I don't know exactly what was going on with like those 2 guys,
Right.
you know what I mean? But basically Paulie said whatever the hell you were doing to anybody.
Okay. So, but it's a ton of great wrestling.
And everybody was like, all right.
it's a ton of great wrestling minds putting together a great mix. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot of
Yeah, but we didn't know. Like the me, Taz, Dreamer, Fran, the list goes on and on to everybody down to Franny to the Booger Pig and Moron. It was what Paul said went, and we trusted everything he said. The only time that if I didn't understand something with Paul, and I've never heard anybody else do this in the business, I'd be like, Paul, what is my motivation right here? Why? Like I told you, when Fonzie first came in and I go to Nancy, I'm like, yo, dude, can he pull this shit off? And she's like, yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if I didn't understand my motivation, I needed to find it through Paul. Like, where the fuck are we going next week or next month?
Yeah, it's almost like an actor talking to a director. You know, like
what the hell's my motivation?
Yeah, that's something like an actor would say to a director.
And we'll get into some of that in mine and Cactus's match.
Absolutely. So Stevie Richards is basically like sending Vampire Warrior out on Tommy Dreamer. Warrior's angry at Dreamer because if you remember the last show we covered, Tommy Dreamer was like making out with Luna in the middle of the ring at the end of the show. And I guess Warrior and him have been estranged at this point. And then next thing you know, we got an ECW match, just an impromptu match. It's typical ECW stuff. It's just, you know, there's a lot of this rolling into another thing on the show.
That's the greatest thing.
Yeah, it's like vintage.
It really is. Nobody does that stuff.
Yeah, it's Paul Heyman doing what he does best. So this was just like a wild, absolutely chaotic brawl. They headed out on the floor, and Warrior had some really nice chair shots on Dreamer and just busted him right open. And then there was Luna, kept doing a lot of interference, and then Warrior gets busted open soon too.
It's Gangrel.
All right, I'll say Gangrel. I'm saying Warrior because he was called Warrior on the show.
You keep saying the word, and it screwed me up for a second.
You're thinking the Ultimate. You're thinking of Ultimate. I'm sorry. All right, so Gangrel. Gangrel's busted open. They go brawl back by the Eagle's Nest.
Which was never under even stood why Gangrel bled. And did anybody, if you watch this, did anybody catch Gangrel doing something totally stupid? When they spilled outside the ring and Gangrel throws him against the wall.
Hits the chair against the wall and totally misses him.
Thank you. I love it.
Dude, was he wearing like snow boots or like some? What kind of boots was he wearing?
Yeah, was he Dreamers?
No,
Gangrel's Dreamers. I hated his boots.
They look like snow boots.
They were
like,
huge.
Yeah,
he's a vampire warrior, dude.
You're right. Those are Vampire Warrior boots.
You gotta walk through some shit if you're a vampire.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I know, but I'm so glad you
Not
mentioned
really.
that.
You could fly.
Dreamer's boots look like they could have been boots for Glacier. If anybody ever remembers Glacier, they were like stupid. He was like they were like Power Ranger boots that he was wearing. There was no like ties like everybody else's. He had like this. It's like this goldish blue. They were hard.
And I'm spent.
And he looked like he was 11 years old. In that interview, when he first is there with Stevie, I'm like, God, Tommy, are you like 11 and a half here?
He did look young,
He
man.
looked 12, I think.
Yeah, true
Wow,
baby face.
young.
So I don't know. They had a decent brawl around the building and stuff. They get back in.
Horrible.
They get back in the ring, and there was. I actually kind of enjoyed the finish, even though you're going to make a point about it. Dreamer hits him with like a leaping chair.
It was more like a
I didn't even know what that was.
It was kind of a DDT,
a bulldog,
bulldog DDT-ish kind of thing. I think
It was
Joey,
a shitty DDT. That's what it was.
Joey put it over as a DDT,
Joey
but
did
it
put
looked
it over
more.
as a DDT.
But it looked more like a bulldog.
Yeah.
Well, if you notice, Joey's like, well, there's only two people in the business that can do DDTs.
That's right.
So Scotty or Raven must have
Got it from the fucking Gangrel.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Raven must have taught
what
him
did Joey just
DDT
say?
or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you setting up fucking the next finish?
I don't know if they were.
All right, so are we getting to the finish?
Yeah, it was the DDT. That was the
Okay,
finish.
It was
So how many-
it was the leaping DDT.
Okay, so what have we seen right now? We've seen 4 Chokeslams, 3 DDTs. Let's get to the next segment.
So the next thing up then was an in-ring segment with Bill Alfonso arguing with Todd Gordon.
Greatest thing ever.
Oh my God, I absolutely love this. So Fonzie is
I don't like him pushing the fucking pushing Todd, but it's like wrestling. Like if I go to Dutch Mantel in Puerto Rico, I'm like, Dutch, why are we doing this?
Yeah, but I love.
He's like saying it's wrestling.
I love some of these lines by Fonzie. Like,
Oh, they're all great.
I'm the senior official around here. You could take that to the bank. You're in the big man's world, little man. Don't give me too much static. I'm like, this guy. You just want to hit him. You know what I mean? It's great.
And you can
Dude,
tell his
it
like
was-
brains moving, and he's like, yeah.
I know. But oh yes, totally. But think about this aspect right now. Have you? Maybe it's. I'm sure like Paulie got a lot of his stuff from like the UWF and maybe Portland and stuff, where a lot of us in the East Coast didn't know. But it's like he did with Cyrus later on. Like he was the network. But it was like Fonzie was the network then, you know what I mean? Everybody to like build up the heat against him.
Yeah, you're like.
Yeah, it was like the threat of somebody that could put you out of business for like, because didn't he threaten that when we first saw him on
And
the
he
other
threatened
one?
it again on this show
Yeah,
too. I
he's
mean,
like-
it's like your parent telling you, "I'll take away the computer or the video games." You know,
it's actually brilliance because, I mean, in a wrestling sense, it's brilliance because our crowd's so rabid and our crowd wants to see violence. And here we go. Archangel comes in, not this, not this, not this. Dude, it was huge heat. But Fonzie wasn't even, again, this is early. Fonzie was not as over as he's going to be. This started his arc. Like Mikey's arc started. You know what I mean? He'll be over way more in 6 months.
yeah. This is 95. Is like, to me, I feel like the
It's
peak.
the beginning of the beginning.
Yes, but I feel like it's almost my favorite year in ECW because you see the formation of a lot of these characters, and you start to see people just like really develop. And Fonzie at this point, like you said, it does crescendo with him and 911 and Todd. But man, the heat is just bubbling over here, and they just keep adding heat after heat after heat as the months go on, and it's really awesome.
Dude,
to see.
even
The
throughout
years
the
go on.
Yeah.
throughout the show, it kept getting worse. Like they'd be like, "Oh, fuck, here's it, Fonzie again."
Playing
Like,
into your match
yeah,
later. I mean, like it's
like, they're
it's
like-
all just building, and that's why
It's brilliance booking. Straight brilliance.
yeah, and that's why I know I've said it before on this show. The moment when 911 finally chokeslammed Bill Alfonso is my favorite ECW moment of all time, and we will get to that on a future episode.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. I know when it happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, wow. I had to make sure I watched it, and I had to be through the curtain on the other side.
Yeah, it's my favorite moment ever at ECW. So Scorpion, Too Cold and Cactus come out and hold back Todd.
Good old Scorpion.
Which I didn't get, but it was a roll through.
Yeah, I don't know why they had those two guys
For the
but-
roll through.
Yeah. Up next on the show, this was one of my favorite things that you guys were doing at this point in time, the Extreme Encyclopedia. Do you have
I
any?
was wondering if you were going to bring that up, and I was going to make all kinds of notes. But the first one was
Jungle Jim Steele.
Jim, and he's something Midas.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Oh God, I had it too.
Dead Meatus?
yeah,
something like that.
Deadest Meatus.
Deadest Meatus.
And the last one's 911. We're not going to say anything bad about him.
Yeah,
Are you
we're
okay
afraid.
with that, sir?
I hope that's okay.
Which is smart. You know what I mean? If you think about it, that's super
Oh
intelligent.
yeah, and the deadest meatus at the end. It's like, yeah, if there's any problem, call 911.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's like at the end, it's like, yeah, call 911, which is like a double entendre or whatever, if that's even the right vernacular.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And he pulled out a Three Stooges vernacular.
The thing I always loved about the Extreme Encyclopedia is like, this is a quick hit segment.
I forgot about it.
It can't be more than 2 minutes, right? But what you're doing is you're getting something over in that very quick little window, and it's not even a video or anything, and it's like, this is just layers to it, and it's part of the way that they utilize their very low production,
Get into their brain,
Yeah.
everything.
And it
you know
walked you
what I
right
mean?
into the next segment.
which
Yep.
is
Literally.
which is
the...
Jungle Jim Steele.
Okay, so hold on. All right, go ahead. Let's go.
Okay.
I was just going to... All right, is that Chuck Palumbo?
No, it's not Chuck. Jungle Jim Steele I think he wrestled in the USWA and in WCW, and then he wrestled in Japan for a lot of years.
All right, did he not look like
more
Chuck
suited for
Palumbo?
Japan.
Huh?
He was much more suited for Japan.
Yeah,
He looked exactly like Chuck Palumbo.
He
with-
does look a lot like the wild, like almost Jungle Boy type of hair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was bigger.
He was
bigger
big.
and thinner.
He was a big
Dude,
dude.
he's almost as tall as fucking 911 there in the segment.
Yeah. So like Jungle Jim Steele, any memories of this like one shot that he had with you guys?
No.
Okay. So he's coming in off of
Dude, I'm worried about a barbed wire match right now. I'm not watching
Jungle Jim Steele 911.
a job match that I know is going on.
So he was coming off a WCW run, and this was just to stick it to WCW pretty much, because you have a guy who was kind of a WCW guy getting just completely squashed and demolished, and then Paulie takes a lot of shots at WCW as 911's giving these choke slams to him. Paulie said, give him another one for CNN Towers, and then he said, give him a fourth for the Renegade. Do you guys remember the Renegade? Do you, Hack, you remember him? So,
Yeah, was he the military kind of dude-ish?
no, the
Was
Renegade.
that Chaos?
No, the Renegade was basically they tried to get Warrior in like 94, 95.
Oh, the Ultimate Warrior?
Right, but they
Okay.
couldn't
Yeah,
get
yeah,
the
yeah.
Warrior, so they like found a guy that kind of looked like the Warrior, and they named him the Renegade.
Yeah.
Okay.
And man, he was even worse than the Warrior. Like he was really bad. I don't mean he was not. He was not a
No,
good
the
wrestler.
Warrior was me, dude. Entrance.
Oh yeah, no.
Entrance finish.
Oh yeah, but then they just couldn't get the Warrior in, so they just made up their own one, and he was called the Renegade, and he sucked. And so Paulie was sticking it to WCW with these shots he was taking, and then he said, "Give him a fifth one for Fonzie." And this was all building up to what I was talking about, that choke slam crescendo of Fonzie giving him another one. So that was that segment. I don't know.
All right. So, gentlemen, let me do a review.
It was not a DDT.
So, what we have seen is opening 4 choke slams, 3 matches with DDTs, 5 choke slams. That's the opening of the show.
That's the opening of the show.
Just saying.
All right.
But there's no lag in between all of it, which is keeping everybody's attention, which is great.
And it was moving. It was moving. You know, I mean, look, there wasn't really a lot of like wrestling or like great wrestling or anything, but it's a
Yeah.
lot of interesting
Well,
angles.
now there's a couple of points that you can prove from that.
Yo,
How good the booking is.
right? And the characters. I mean, you got a lot of characters.
That's what I'm saying.
out
Like
there.
it's you're getting. There's so many angles within that first
And we
fight.
did nothing.
Right. right. That's what I'm
Right.
Nothing.
saying.
The biggest thing to have right now is fucking Gangrel and Dreamer going through the building.
Well, then I guess you're setting up 911 and Fonzie later, you know. But other than that,
Well,
really
yeah,
happened.
we've done nothing in
Right.
the show.
Okay, so next up on the show was Beulah McGillicuddy with Raven and Stevie Richards versus Luna Vachon. So for those of you guys who don't know, Beulah was doing the character where it was like a summer camp where Tommy turned her down. And then I guess, you know, maybe she was a little bit of a bigger girl or something. And then Raven ends up with her over the years, and she's just absolutely smoking hot.
And they announced her as like the cover girl of Penthouse or whatever.
Yeah. Which is a shoot, brother. That's a shoot, brother.
Yeah, like
So this was so Stevie was selling Luna awesome at the beginning of this match, being like really afraid of her. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, and backpedaling through the ropes and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, great.
Like
Yeah, of course, because like right then she literally looks like she could kick his ass.
100%. You know,
All right, dude. Luna is when you're out there with her, and when you see her in the back, she's like, oh, she's got this like cute little sweet voice. When she walks through that curtain, she's like, I'm a fucking devil. It's like weird, dude. You're like, whoa, who the hell is this chick?
yeah.
You know what I mean? She was living it out there, girl. That she was believable as shit.
Yeah. So like I didn't remember the booking for this, but I was like, okay, so this is Luna versus Beulah here. There's got to be some tomfoolery. So
Tomfoolery.
yeah, there has to be, right?
Wow.
Because
Do you know what Tom? Have you ever even heard that expression?
I've heard the expression, of course.
Like, what do you know what it is?
What do you
Like
mean?
hijinks, like something's gonna happen, like tomfoolery, like a fuck finish or whatever.
Yeah, I know what it means. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but dude, me and Ty all the time we talk about. Do you think Oliver would know what was the last thing that you were sure he would know, but he didn't?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but me and Ty talk about it all the time. Like the generations just between these two, and it's only 10 years. But Ollie doesn't know stuff.
There's always different vernacular, like people just don't know.
He used vernacular twice.
No, he stole it from me.
All right, so
Because I'm clearly the wordsmith on this show.
I'm not.
The wordsmith on this
But
show.
like for example, like Ty knows Jiffy Pop. I don't know that.
What the hell's Jiffy Pop?
That stuff
you
you
don't
put
know
on the
that?
stove and
Yeah,
you
I
rub
know
it.
that.
Like that. But like you've like seen that used in your life. I've never seen
Oliver's
anybody
never
use
used a
that.
payphone.
Oh man, wow.
Dude, he came over.
never had to.
He came over my house. The electric can opener was broken, and I was like, "Get the handheld one." He was like, "I don't know how to use." I had to show him how
What?
to use the
There you
handheld
go.
can opener.
That's a good example.
Like
Okay.
he just never had to use one. He always had an electric one.
There's a generation
Like,
gap
Yeah,
here.
where you could just open the
point,
can
exactly.
on top.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
generation between me and Oliver, I mean, okay, so now, back in the day, they used to talk about generations as in 10 or 20 years, but your life expectancy in 1900 was 42 years old. In 1950, it got up to be like 45 years old. So generations are a little bit broader now. Like, to me, it's like 30-year generations, not like 10, because we're living way longer and way longer. But it's crazy the shit that Oliver has never even would have is like what?
Well, dude, there was such a jump from
Never had to use a map.
Oh man, Rand
Oh my
McNally.
God!
Rand
Good
McNally. You don't know? Yo.
like or MapQuest or
Yeah.
like whatever. Like, dude, but there was such
Oh my God! Wow! You never had to use a map.
and
Damn.
I was born in like that perfect like that
You were in a
switch-
sweet spot.
That switch,
Sweet spot.
yeah,
Where you
from-
were young enough to get all the new tech that was coming out
same.
and
I
absorbing
know,
it.
yeah,
Same.
Like,
We
I know
grew
the
up in
old
the-
stuff, but then grew up right as the tech boom was going, so I
Right.
know both ends of the spectrum.
Right. So we grew up pre-internet, but then we also had it. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And you know,
But
we grew
not
up-
the way it is now.
right. Not the
I
way
mean,
it is now,
it's
but
like it's 8,000 times better than it was.
Right.
Better or worse.
but enough
however
to
you
get
wanna-
acclimated
And,
with it anyway.
and you
Right.
were
know?
clearly before internet and after, but
He's from the Stone Age.
but you were way after that.
Literally.
I was growing up with the internet. Like middle school was when internet was like boom, and like so that's
Yeah,
when
but
we
you
started.
guys gotta understand. There was 5, 6, maybe 7 channels when I was 10 years old
right.
in
Yeah, it's crazy.
1973. Can you imagine? Although, and there's nothing to watch, I'm going to say, and now there's 300. We pay $280 for cable and internet, and there's still nothing on TV.
All right. Let's get back to this match here.
All right, good job pulling us back in.
Beulah.
What were we talking about?
Beulah and Luna Vachon. So this match, Beulah.
It was perfect, though.
Beulah gets a quick 3 count after a Stevie
I
kick.
know, but the ref didn't, John didn't see it.
Not at all.
Perfect timing. Boom.
It was awesome, and then Raven laid out Luna with a DDT and a big stomp to her.
Oh, another DDT.
Another
a
DDT.
big DDT, as Jay Sully would say.
It was a big DDT.
Only
So
2 people in professional wrestling can do it. And you get the handcuffs.
yeah, so then Tommy tries to make the save, but Raven cracked him right in the head with a chair, and he laid him out with another DDT, and he starts like breaking his fingers. I thought
Hated it.
You didn't like the finger breaking.
Hate it.
What? For what reason?
All right. I hated it.
Because you better
even-
come back with broken fingers
I
the
hate
next
it.
week.
Exactly. And have your whole hand taped up like a fin, like you feel like a defensive lineman and you got a broken finger or so. You know what I mean? I hated it. But on the other hand, I've seen Fit Finley and Steven Regal do 30 minutes and work a finger in Ireland at a show that I was at there. Literally worked, I think it might have even been his pinky. Worked a finger for 30 minutes and got over huge. But I didn't like it for there because when he's like break, it's not like you're extending a ligament. That's like break shit. So you got to come out for the next like month at least with something on.
Okay. No, I understand your point there.
And Oliver got it.
Yeah. I think that when
And
I
why
watch...
do 3?
I think that.
And another thing is, if you're breaking my fingers, I can still get up off the mat and kick you and punch you with my other hand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Breaking my fingers isn't going to let me lay down there.
I think that when I'm watching, like Pentagon in AEW, he does that spot where he breaks the fingers too, and then the guys are, 2 minutes later in the match, they're just fine. So it's like, at least this was done for a big angle. I understand your point about the selling, but at the same time, I do
Well, just
wish.
follow through with it. And
Right, if you're going to do it, sell it.
Come easy with Tommy to tape up all his fingers together in a match.
Yeah. So then Raven was just keep snapping his fingers, and then Stevie hit him with a chair. And then Raven cuffs
On the ass.
Yeah, and then Raven cuffs Luna to the ropes from the outside, and Tommy just like sacrifices himself for the chair shot for Luna. I mean, I get the angle. It's just to heat up more things with Tommy, but then
What's the name of the angle?
I don't understand that though, because it's
she's
like
still handcuffed.
Yeah,
and you
well,
could hit her then if you wanted to.
Exactly, even after. So it's like, why?
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, but what was the symbolism? Ty, please tell me what I'm talking about here.
this.
Luna handcuffed outside the ring.
I mean, is this to build up to?
She's crucified.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's a It's a light crucifixion angle with a girl.
I actually
She's laying. Think about it. Now.
Joey mentions it.
Yeah, okay. I actually,
I didn't even know.
I actually kind of thought that later in the show when we get to your match with Cactus, when he's wearing the barbed wire and stuff at the end of the match.
What a great job.
Yeah, Joey actually, I think he mentions it as he's getting crucified. Like,
He's like, he's crucifying Luna.
he mentions it during the thing.
So this was basically just an angle to get Tommy out of the next match, which is a 6-man tag. You have Raven and the Pitbulls who are under Raven's nest at this point. And so this is a weird team of Taz and Too Cold Scorpio.
Wait.
What?
The all-new Taz.
Oh, I was getting to that. So this is like the first time that we're seeing the Taz that I know and love. It's not the Tasmaniac. He's not wearing the singlet with the fur on it. He doesn't have the hair. He's got like a real tight haircut, and he's basically wrestling a lot of the same style. It just seems a little bit tighter.
He's jacked.
He is.
You see how freaking thick he is right there?
He is. And he really carries himself like a badass. Like whether or not...
Great.
Like he just...
I loved it.
Yeah, he has an absolute presence with this new character.
I loved it.
And it's funny because I know in the last show it was kind of like his debut as that character when he was the Benoit and Malenko match he was doing the announcing for. But this was like really, really good presentation, I thought, of this new Taz.
No, it was like fucking coming out.
Yeah, I really liked it. So
I loved it. And you know me, yeah, you would expect me to say anything exactly the opposite, but I loved it.
Nah, you call it how you see it, man. Even though I know you weren't the biggest fan.
But yeah, and the thing is, it's a different character, but the crowd. Oh, we'll get to that'll be another point later. But the crowd's like, they don't accept new characters like so easily. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's out there with Paulie too. Didn't Paulie come out before him and stuff like that?
So what happens before the match is Hack Myers tries to come out and be their partner, and then Fonzie again comes out, and Fonzie's like, "No, you're not the partner of this match. You can't be in this match. It's got to be a handicap match."
Did I fast forward through that?
You must have, I guess, because the psychology there is like, okay, everything that you guys really like in this audience, I'm going to take away from you. Like, that's a true villain.
Okay, so Hack Myers taking away that's a true villain.
Well, he was super. He was very over.
Was it? So who was supposed? Was it always supposed to be a handicap match, or was
It was supposed to be Tommy.
It was supposed to be Tommy,
It was supposed to be a match.
No, it was supposed to be Tommy, Taz, and Too Cold versus Raven and the Pitbulls.
Really?
And
Okay.
Yeah, and they took out Tommy before the match, so then it wasn't a match. I thought this match was pretty decent. I really did enjoy the work that Taz had in it. Then they got the heat on Taz for a while. We're triple teaming him.
Horrible.
You didn't like the heat on Taz?
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
If you're going to bring him out there and build him up like that.
Yeah, you're bringing him out as this brand new Taz, and then he's getting the heat.
I thought he did a couple of cool suplexes to them, and Raven did take a really big...
All right, do 10 in a match. Come on. He opened up with 3.
Yeah. So then Scorpion eventually gets the hot tag. He does go bit
Did you
on...
say Scorpion again?
Scorpion. I'm reading my notes, man. Dude.
Gangrel.
Gangrel and Scorp. Too cold.
Oh, I know. I got something on there. Something about that finish there. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, so Scorp goes up top, hits
moonsault.
Hits a moonsault onto Pitbull number 2.
And Gary's late. You notice he was late as shit to get the foot right there.
I'm trying to think. I don't.
On the save, on the pin save.
Yeah,
okay.
Scorp does that, and honestly, to me, the only other person that does like a layout like moonsault like that is that chick, that blonde chick.
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah. She does, like, you can tell she's like a swimmer, a diver, a gymnast,
she's a gymnast.
floor exercises, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scorp was none of that, but it didn't matter. And if you see, Scorp will pick you up and plant you, but everybody else is like, wants to look through and spy you. Scorp plants you. I've been in many matches with him. I didn't care because a lot of times I didn't like him picking me up and slamming me. Like, I would have come out of a spot and I just happened to be in that spot and Scorp goes up to the top rope. More than like, oh, Scorp setting him up for this off the top rope. You know what I mean? So sometimes, I'm like 6-7 feet outside the corner. Scorp would go straight up and boom, right on me.
That's amazing.
If I was halfway across the ring, and he would never hit you with your knees, he would never hit you with your femur bone, he would just land it perfectly, and you wouldn't even know it because his legs are taking all the bump.
I was gonna say maybe his fat ass.
That was fat ass. He's making more of a bump. But two best moonsaults that I ever even fucking seen.
Yeah, it's absolutely picture perfect. We then see Paul Heyman outside the ring, and Heyman says to the camera, "Some people have no taste whatsoever," and the camera pans to a girl in the front row, and she's holding an "I Love Stevie Richards" sign.
Freddie!
And it's Kevin from Dayton, Ohio's favorite, Francine, making her... Was this her first appearance, or did she have one other in ECW before
I
this?
would probably think the way that I happened to be listening, like what Ty was saying, some things about what Joey was saying about the crucifixion. I'm not hearing Joey then. I'm watching what's on there. But in this instance, I was listening to Joey. And what was the question again?
Was this Franny's first ever on camera
No,
appearance?
because they made it seem like it was their second.
I think it's her first, but I'm not 100% on that. So Stevie goes nuts for her.
She was good.
She was great.
Dude, especially when
Beulah and her
comes
going
out and then like faces her. They have a little face off. And she's a fan, you know what I mean? She's like grabbing for Beulah and everything. There's a face off. And Scotty rolls by her and just pulls Beulah along with him.
Boy, he like throws he throws Stevie down.
He
like
slaps him because he's like, "No, you don't get to have a girl. Like, you're my lackey."
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Franny's got a great face. Like, oh, how could you?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and that just pulls Beulah along as a happenstance.
Right.
You know what I mean? On his way out.
So Raven's like, "Nah."
You guys had such good stuff. Right
It really
there.
is, and it's just
it's General Hospital stuff at its best.
Jealousy.
You know, it's great TV.
Yeah.
Beulah's running like dragging, like pointing at her, like and,
Yeah,
like,
on the way out, Franny's looking down at her. It was like this, dude. It was. That's just good shit.
Yeah, it's
It
great.
really
It's
is.
great booking. It's really good stuff. It really is. So then Raven's out of the match, and it's kind of just like a straight up tag. Taz got knocked down by the Pitbulls, and Too Cold laid them both out. And then that kind of goes to the finish.
Horrifying.
A belly to belly superplex by Taz for the win off the top rope. I thought the finish was pretty cool. But
Score was outside way too long.
yeah, I thought it was an okay match, but definitely got its job done with the angle there. I thought it started out pretty good, and then kind of.
Well, no, but the best part of it is that Scorp and Taz had that moment when Scorp's going to hit the dude off the top
A little
rope.
I
dissension
thought that
between
was a
them.
mess up, but they actually set it up as a spot.
Yeah, for
little
those two
dissension.
to do a run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up on the show, I guess we were going to get a tag team match between the Public Enemy and the Bad Breed.
No, we weren't guessing.
Well, that's what it seemed like it was going to happen, because then...
I didn't know what was going to happen. And I was with those... I was the first people to meet New Jack and Mustafa down in Essington. Todd told me to go meet them. Your mom was with me.
So, all right, walk me into this, because apparently the Gangstas at this point just bailed from Smoky Mountain. They're headed to ECW now.
Whatever it is.
You're saying you were the one to...
Todd told me to go meet these dudes. When Rick Steiner came in for to pop the crowd, and a couple other guys, I was the guy that went to pick them up.
So, is the Gangsters what they were called in Smoky Mountain?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're down in if you go down 420, go all the way to the end at the river.
Mm-hmm.
There was it wasn't a new hotel then, it was like a motel. And Todd sent me to meet them. They pull up in a Cadillac, get out of the car, and I'm telling Mom, I'm like, yeah, I think these are the boys that we're supposed to meet. Remember having a conversation with them or something, and I don't remember which one.
Did you guys hit it off right then? You guys were boys?
I said to his mom, I'm like, these guys are going to fit in real well.
And boy, did they.
So all I had to do was look at them.
Yeah.
I'm like, these dudes are going to fit in real well.
Yeah, it was like the perfect, like...
But you have to understand that, and we'll get to it when they come out, but nobody knew who the hell they were. You gotta understand, it's like Smoky Mountain, but Smoky Mountain
Could have been another planet to Philly.
It's like Smoky Mountain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody knew who the frick these guys were, and we'll talk about it later when they come out. The crickets in the crowd. But yeah, they sent me to meet them as soon as they got it.
Okay, so Axel Rotten's in the ring with Ian. Fonzie then he comes out and he's like, look, the Bad Breed lost the match where they could never team again, so he's making the stipulation.
The whole thing's great.
Yes, it's brilliant. It's really brilliant.
Yeah, Fonzie's just getting more heat again. They're like, this
And
dude
those two
again.
end up fighting each other outside.
Yes.
Dude,
Like,
it's brilliant.
This show was put together, I think, just to heat up Fonzie almost. Like when you're looking back at it.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's the top heel in the company.
Literally.
You know, he is. It's really awesome, man. I absolutely...
Not yet. Well, like I said, things are in the...
Yeah, it keeps
By
growing. with
watching
each
this
segment.
thing more, and the more like I go through my notes, it sets up so much good shit.
Yeah. So he's enforcing the stipulation, and then he's just taking away the fans this match they really want to see, and he's just a huge heel. So then, with the match not going on, they just decide to fight each other because they're the Rotten Brothers, and they start going at it and just beating the hell out of each other, man. So that
They were not beating the hell out of each other.
I thought they were going.
did nothing.
I thought they were going to town with each other.
They did nothing.
Okay, so then
Going to town.
going to town, right?
Did nothing.
Thank you, Todd.
We're tied in two here. So then the Public Enemy are just having a house party. But that got interrupted real
Did
quick.
that seem a little bit long while they were like in there? I'm like, and then it's like it goes on for like 30 seconds. And then Johnny gets on because I don't remember what happened. So Johnny gets on the corner that faces the entrance where all the wrestlers come out. And I'm like, well, why would he do that? Because I'm expecting the Gangsters to come out. And then it's 2 minutes later, the Gangsters come in from the front door.
So the Gangsters come in from the door, not in the back, which is a big distinction. And I think that really helped play into it.
That's where they left.
Yes, and that's where they left too.
Probably
so,
missed their cue because Mustafa was smoking a pencil shavings.
Yeah, an apple with stuffed with some pencil shavings.
Yeah. They probably lost track of time.
Okay. And even if you guys see, these are the things that I'm looking at that you guys aren't looking at. The PE isn't even over fucking huge here. They're not. The whole crowd's not doing this the whole time.
Yeah, they're like on the verge.
Right?
Yeah,
so
they're
everybody's and they were the first ones to get there out of us. Like, besides a guy like Gangrel, I didn't know Gangrel. He's running from somewhere else. You know what I mean? But yeah, the PE weren't even as over as huge as they were. I wasn't as over as huge as I was. It just wasn't like that here. But it's a great build.
The only thing that I didn't enjoy about that is that they let the beating go on as long as they did, and then they had
With the cops.
and then they had the cops come in
Should've
and
been
take
quicker.
him. Like you're gonna,
okay.
you know. All right, go ahead.
I'm glad you said that. Oh, did you think the same thing?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it didn't like. It didn't like trigger something in my head. Like
It was just
should
like
have been quicker.
at the very end, you're portraying them as intruders when you let them come out with weapons and beat up the PE for what 10 minutes, 5,
An extended amount of minutes.
10 minutes. Like yeah,
They should have bum rushed the ring.
right.
See? Now here's my notes.
Okay.
So, when the gangsters come in, nobody in the freaking building knows who they are. Except in the hard camera, there's this little group that's like 10 rows back, and there's like 5 dudes together and are losing their minds when New Jack was stopping at the ring.
So these are like early internet sheet guys, probably.
Yeah,
Right.
whatever, but nobody else. So the best part about it was crickets the whole time. They were getting beat up. It's like everybody in the audience is like, who the hell are these guys? What is happening here? Nobody was reacting. The PE, who's the most over people in the company at that point, are getting their asses kicked by these dudes who we don't even know who the hell are for 5 minutes. And the crowd just sits there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
That's brilliant.
It really
It's
is an
freaking
amazing
brilliant.
debut for an amazing
freaking
legendary
brilliant.
tag team too. So like, I know we did our tag team Mount Rushmore episode a couple weeks ago. It's really cool to see the Gangsters come in and just immediately go at another Mount Rushmore tag team like that. And
I know it was cool to see a couple debuts in an episode.
Yeah, like we saw a lot of stuff in this episode.
and you know, credit to the Public Enemy being as strong as they are, to willing to be like, yeah, they can come in and beat us up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody's gonna do that. Like,
Johnny got it.
I'm just
Let's make
saying,
these
but-
boys strong.
Right.
We'll get strong.
but I'm saying
True.
credit to that. Like, yo, this
Yes,
is your debut, and like,
yeah.
we're not getting beat up. Like, this is just like punches, kicks, like whatever. Like, we're getting beat up.
And it's funny
Like,
that you mentioned
color,
that because
Yeah, it's an assault. Like Joey
Yeah,
Styles
like
was
literally.
saying.
it's so funny that you say that. It made me think I've met so many. Let's say, honestly, I would say it's like 50-50 to me that guys that really get it and guys that don't.
Yeah.
I see so many times I've been in the locker room and guys are complaining about what they're doing, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You fucking stupid.
Right.
You know
But
what I mean?
that's-
Some people just don't.
They don't see the bigger picture.
They don't get it.
Yeah.
But all right. So, but there's a difference between.
You get into pushing, you don't get it. That's now that I'm
Okay,
thinking
all right.
about it. That's got
So
shit
that-
that pisses
but-
me off.
Well, yes,
Oh,
right.
my push should be bigger. No, it shouldn't. If you do this a little bit, then your push will be way stronger in a month from now.
You
Well,
need a
that's
dance
my
partner,
point. Like,
too.
there's a difference between somebody.
Yes,
There's
you
a
need
difference.
partner.
There's a difference between somebody like you, the Public Enemy, or whatever. Like, you guys are already over, so like you're willing to do the things, and you know like what's best for the company. And part of the reason that you guys are so over is because you're willing to do those things, and you get, like you get it. Like you said, it's just. Yeah, I don't know. Have you like? There's some people who aren't over and they're trying to get over, and they're like, "Oh, my push, this, that, and the other thing." Well, it's like, well, if you do this,
I'll give you a perfect example. Anthony the Pitbull. When Anthony's, I just got to be honest here. Anthony didn't get it. Gary gets hurt. Anthony's working with Shane Douglas. Basically, maybe the biggest heel in the company, like at that point.
Right.
But Anthony didn't get it. Dude, you don't have to beat Shane Douglas. He broke your partner's neck. All you have to do is look great and then have him slip over by some nefarious reason. But he would get pissed off because he just broke my partner's neck. I should be beating him. I should be fucking Francine. No, dude, he was guys. I swear to God, Anthony, like, love you, Anthony, to death. But yeah, you didn't get it sometimes. He actually thought that he should be able to have sex with Francine because she was the
Kevin does
Pitbull's
too.
manager. I swear to God, straight shoot. That's what he thought in his mind. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Wow, that's absurd.
She's my valet. She's my sex doll.
But not saying that he doesn't have verification to back that up, because that has been the history in the business.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? The girls that are with the guys, no matter who the hell they are.
Well, sometimes I'm sure there were a lot of times the girlfriends.
So
were-
I'm not saying that he's not totally super crazy, but just to expect her to blow you before you go out to the ring.
Yeah, that's absurd. Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's
The one thing
So he didn't get both, is what you're saying.
he didn't get over.
I had to give him the hand job when we were working together. Like, she ain't gonna do it.
So he really didn't get it.
Yeah, you never mind doing the
Never
job.
gonna get it,
Some
never
lipstick
gonna
on.
get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it.
So this was just like a really cool angle. Everything like bled together, and it was kind of like seamless in terms of like how everything flowed together. So I thought it was really excellent stuff.
What were we talking about again?
The Public Enemy and the Gangsters and the Bad Breed. There, that angle.
The Gangsters debut, all
The
that.
Gangsters debut,
And then they get carried out by the cops.
and then to get carried
Out
by
the
cops.
front door again, which
Yep.
is lovely.
Right. That does add to it. Coming up here next is the main event of this show. It's the reason we did this show, Hack.
Hoodies, losers.
It's you and Cactus Jack. Hack, I gotta ask you, man, and this is something that's, doing this match. I know last week we had a listener question about glass in wrestling. When you first heard, or maybe walk us through when you first heard you were doing a barbed wire match, and then your thoughts in it.
I don't know when I first heard it, but as soon as I heard it, I'm like, yeah, I'm all in. Because I told you, when I went to Japan my very first time, the guy Ibaragi didn't pay me. Like, the Pitbulls and the PE went home, and I hung out for a
Yeah,
couple
we all
extra days.
heard it already.
I love this story, though.
And I watched, and Ralphie, Jason the Terrible, I watched in his apartment of all kinds of bomb explosion and
FMW
and
shit.
stuff like that. So as soon as I heard about it, I'm like all in.
Okay.
Not the same with Raven. Oh my God.
So you had no trepidation about doing a barbed
Zero.
wire match? Okay.
Supposed to be with Cactus.
Okay. And besides those tapes, like, had you ever seen anything like a bar? No. Yeah, because it wasn't like big in the States at this point. I know in the
Nope.
80s sometimes they did ropes wrapped in barbed wire, but it wasn't like a no rope barbed wire match like this. So that was certainly really interesting. Do you think this was Cactus's idea or Paulie's idea, or
I don't remember.
do you think it was done to try to like get the
It
match?
could have been my idea.
Yeah.
I could have got back from Japan and been like, hey,
I wanna do
work
this.
with Cactus is doing a fucking barbed wire match.
Do you think a lot of the times like stuff was done for the magazines at this point too, like for Japan and here in the States and everything?
Like what? Like visual optics?
Well, no,
Yes,
the
because
barbed
it does have
wire
such a cool
here,
visual.
the barbed wire here was for Japan. But you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we're doing it because you got to understand they're doing bomb explosion matches like way before we've never done one in the States.
Right.
You know, I mean, the stupid one that the PE did against somebody and the gunpowder got kicked over in the arena, whatever.
And the Moxley one that he did with
But
the
yeah, but I think that was part of the barbed wire would help us even be better in the Japanese magazines.
Okay, so it was probably done for the Japanese magazine
Well,
scene.
that's what I
Partially.
would say, but Paulie has two individuals that are ready to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Those
And-
magazines were awesome too.
Oh, they're
So in
incredible.
the United States back then, it's like a professional wrestling magazine from the States was more like looking at a newspaper. It was in a magazine format, but it was like just like real cheap like newspaper stuff. Japanese magazines had nice stuff.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Stuff you
WrestleCon.
put on your wall.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. WrestleCon. A lot of the fans would bring by some of the Japanese tapes and a lot of the Japanese magazines for you to sign and stuff. That stuff was super cool to see.
I'm pretty
in
sure
person.
we have some Japanese, some
Yeah,
old
I got
Japanese.
plenty.
Yeah,
I got them in a stack somewhere.
Okay.
yeah. I
I
used
got
to.
Ultra Sandman. Ultra Sando, man.
When I was a kid, I used to read those. Hack would come home when I
We're gonna have to try to get some of
Not
these.
read them. I just watch the pictures because I
Yeah, I was gonna say
can't
read.
Japanese,
we got
Japanese.
We got lucky because the guy like Bill Hafter was the guy that that wrote all the articles, that took all the pictures for like the 3 main wrestling magazines in the United States right then. But Fumi Saito, who was ECW, he was the main freaking editor for those magazines. That's why we were getting huge. That's why we were getting every week. There was tons of pictures about ECW in them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome that you referenced Fumi. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, Fumi's the man.
yeah.
Dude, I love you.
Shouts out to Fumi, man. That's really
And what a
awesome.
great dude.
Yeah, I've only heard great things about him.
Freaking guy.
Only
Loved
heard-
his hair too.
Oh.
He had great hair.
Only heard great things about that dude. So one of the things I got to ask you about this match, Hack, is working with Cactus. I know that you didn't have like the best relationship with him. Was there any reason why you guys like never really
At
clicked?
that point, it wasn't even a bad relationship yet.
Okay, so it
That
didn't.
didn't happen until later.
That didn't happen until later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, we went out there with 2 spots.
What were the 2 spots? The finish?
The ball spot.
Maybe
No,
the first
2 spots
What about
and the finish.
what about the first?
All right, the ball spot.
And what
The
about
other
when,
one?
when you first put Cactus in the barbed wire?
the
The gourd
It's
buster?
got-
The gourd
yeah,
buster?
the very first one in the
Dude,
ball
Ty,
spot.
you have been on for the past couple of weeks, dude. Fuck.
Okay.
I never would have said he would have got the 2 spots.
Okay. So
I mean, come on, dude.
yeah, come on. Let's
That
get
was
into
it.
This is 95
Yeah, but you have to
ECW.
understand
This is my
something.
shit here.
Those 2, so I have seen some Cactus Jack, Terry Funk, barbed wire explosion matches from being hanging out in Japan waiting for my money. So I kind of had an idea. You know what I mean? A basic idea. So Cactus comes in. He's got he's wearing denim shorts underneath his sweatpants.
Really?
And he's wearing a thing around his gut, like you know what a back brace would be right now. He's like kind of wearing one of those.
Or like, what's the thing like a waiter would wear? Like a fucking what? What is
this
what
guy
is it called?
talking about?
You know what I'm talking about?
I kind of do, but I don't know the word.
No, like a cummerbund, like a
Yeah,
or like
kinda,
a
yeah.
like
Well,
a.
yeah, but they went around and it was like and it was plastic, whatever the freak it was. But he's like, dude, we need to do these 2 spots. It won't hurt me at all. We went out there with those 2 spots, literally nothing else, and then the finish.
Okay. The other thing I
And the
have,
finish was very important to me, the way it went down.
and I mean, I get it by watching this match, but these ropes were all barbed wire, legit barbed wire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no.
I didn't-
Nothing's grinded down.
Right.
You can see where it
Catches
where
your
he's
clothing
whipping
and your
me with
shirt,
it. It's
yes.
catching on my skin. I get the scores all over my body.
No,
to prove it.
I believed in watching it, but I had to be a
No, it was
mark and
really-
ask if
Dude,
any
you
of it
can
was
tell by
fake.
even like the way like you're after you touch
Right.
it, like after you
Well, that's
sell.
what I was just.
Hold on,
Alright,
let's
here
get
we
into
go.
let's get into the match.
It's
Yeah.
a half. All right, it's a half-ass sell, a half-ass fucking.
Right,
yeah, I'm
because
getting caught.
I was going
hands
to
are
say,
taped.
Nancy's
Well,
walking around the
'cause
ring
you're
too,
gonna
and
ha-
she's teching and she's sucking her finger like
Yeah,
she's
she
bleeding.
knows.
like,
She
pulling
puts
the-
it over
Yeah.
big.
And then Joey says, "I never seen a guy in a fucking barbed wire match that didn't have his hands wrapped."
Right, and Cactus did, and you're like, nope,
I
not me.
didn't care.
Well, it's like to sell it right, you have to poke yourself a little bit on it.
Yeah, well, it's not like nobody's going to see that you're not bleeding or bleed. You
But
know
it
what
makes
I'm
no
saying?
sense to grab the thing around his neck and you not sew your hand after. You know, it
Oh,
makes
you
no
sewed your
sense.
hands great,
Because the
man.
barbed wires, but it's about like maybe 8 inches apart each barb. So you
So
know
you
what I
can
mean.
grab
You
it,
got
yeah, right.
you got a little bit of room in between.
Now, walk the audience through working a match like this where you're not able to shoot the guy into the ropes. You're not able to do a lot of the traditional wrestling
It's
stuff.
just
There's
in the
no
be- in the
walk.
begin-
It's
in the
easy. It makes it easier.
It
In
makes
the
it
beginning of the
easier.
match, you give him a scoop and a slam, and then you stand there for like 30 seconds, and Ty's like, "All right, Hack, what are you doing? No ropes."
I'm like, you can't give him a leg drop. You can't get a time. I'm like, what are you doing here, Hack? You look at him
So
and you're like, shit.
glad he said that to you because you guys gotta understand, dude. I'm starting to fucking feel my shit right now. I know I'm getting over. You know what I mean?
I could tell by how long you stood outside of the ring.
Before we even started.
Yeah, I could tell that.
I'm just feeling it. I'm in no hurry.
See,
I'm knowing there's no time.
I didn't know if a little bit of that was you trying to be like a little bit of a heel, like
no,
stalling.
Do I now? If you remember, when I rolled into the ring with when I got her in there, and then we rolled out as he came in. I need to give him the ring right there. So this time I'm playing my pussy ass fucking heel. Oh, let me have a beer. Nancy, give me a beer. Give me a cigarette.
Joey put it over good. He's like, all right, a little liquid courage.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Get your
it's like,
nicotine fix.
I
a great
can't
line.
believe this is our champion.
Yes, yeah. He was disgusted.
Yeah, the first time you were out hanging outside the ring before you even touched was you feeling yourself. The second time was you being a heel.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the first time was you
Fucking
feeling
exactly.
yourself. The second
I
time
had
was
to
you being
give
a
him
heel.
the center of the ring because Cactus was more known for any of this crazy shit. You know what I mean?
So
I
he
had
would
to
be
give him
comfortable
the
with
center.
it. Yeah.
And the fact that he's known for that, you have to make it seem like, oh, maybe I'm second guessing. Yeah, I'm gonna second guess
Exactly.
I thought you guys.
Because remember, I'm not over like we're over at this point. You know what I mean? I'm just not. So I would have played it differently if that match is 2 years later. The opening would have been totally different.
Okay, but this is you in '95 at this
Yeah,
point. So it's a little
there's
different.
no way you would have left the ring.
Right. Exactly.
I thought you guys had it.
Oh, and just so you know, champion out first. Remember we talked
We
about
did
that
last week. We did, yeah, with Bailey and
Champion out
everything.
first.
Okay, yeah, we did talk about that.
I
This
used to love doing that.
I really
Who
enjoyed.
wants to stand in the ring for fucking my 8-minute entrance?
Right, that makes sense. I thought you guys had a really good brawl, and it like there's a lot of limitations with this match. Like I was saying, like you can't do a lot of things like you normally do, so you have to mix it up. And I thought you guys really brought the intensity, and I thought your selling in this match was like top notch from both of you guys. I really thought the work in this match was really awesome. The one cool spot I loved when you got your shirt all messed up and it was over your head, and then he starts whipping you in the stomach with the barbed
And then
wire.
he does the
All right,
hockey
hold on.
punches
Yes,
with
he
the
gives
shirt
him the
on.
hockey
Hold on
with the-
right here.
It was the
All right, so I don't know that he's pulling my shirt over my head.
he was trying to pull it off.
Yeah, he was trying to pull it off.
Right.
Whatever. Well, because I'm sure I told him that because I need to show the blood on my body. If you look at it, if you really watch it later, I've got
I saw
two
a couple
different
blades drop. I saw a couple blades drop.
I had two different blades on my hand. So whenever back in the day, before I just beat a can against my head to bleed, I would bleed with a blade. You know what I mean? So I had to have a couple backups. So I wanted him to pull my shirt over my head so my body could bleed. So you could see my stomach bleeding, my arm bleeding.
Yeah, well, you said
That was the best spot of the whole match. Was in your head was everything, and he hit you, and you did like the crawl into the into the barbed wire.
Oh, wait,
rope
so no,
from
I
your
forgot
knees.
my story. Hold on. Oh, no, that was right after this. So he pulls the fucking thing over my head. I'm like, punch me, because I knew I could back up into the barbed wire right then.
Yeah, but you
And
turned
then-
and you crawled on your knees and you did like kind of like
Yeah,
the
then
the
we
chest
did the
bump.
next
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
the next spot.
I thought that was really awesome, and you guys were brawling. There was a lot of chairs were involved, and then
Oh, hey, wait a minute. Let me get over to how many times did I leap the sword of Damocles? Dude, how many times? All right, spots.
Come again?
All
Sword
right,
of
I leaped
Damocles?
over the ropes once and hit him coming down.
All right, the ropes were down lower than the apron.
Not the boy crowd pop.
I think Colton could have leaped that. Oliver's 4-year-old son could have jumped out to the ground, but you did give like a high ninja kick, like
Of course
down
I
from
did.
under the
yeah, you're a big
guardrail.
ninja kick guy.
Yeah. Back then with the heavy Air Maxes, they were all pumped up. The funniest thing is like early in the match, I think Cactus was going. He basically like crawled towards the ropes, or he threw him towards her, and he started wrapping his own arm into the thing, and you were like, weren't even there yet. And I guess he realized he was like, oh, shit. But like,
That's how he ended up with all that fucking barbed wire around his head at the end. You know what I mean? He knows what the final picture should look like.
Yeah, so Cactus brought in like even more barbed wire, and then just like an entire roll of it was brought in the ring.
Just to wrap around himself for the end.
Just to wrap around himself for the ending. You then go with like a big leg drop, and then you elbow drop the wire where on Cactus, and then Cactus.
Yo, I bought that spool of wire.
Did you?
You couldn't
Where, at
even
the
buy it
Ripples?
in Pennsylvania right there.
Delaware?
I had to go to Delaware to buy that spool. It cost me like $50. I had to go buy that spool of wire in Delaware.
Did Paul Lee reimburse you
course
that
I
50?
said no.
Did he reimburse you that 50 when you provided the receipt?
Dude, I'm making $75,000 a year right here in the newspaper business.
Yeah.
I didn't care about
Did you get a check from HHG or whatever?
Yeah, for $50
whatever it
reimbursement.
was?
HHG Holdings.
Yeah.
So then Cactus wrapped his arm around in barbed wire, and then he just like went to town with you on it. I thought that was really cool. So then you guys are just both kind of covered in everything, and then you do a double down, and then Cactus gets...
Dude, the double down wasn't even supposed to happen.
No?
It just happened. Remember, somebody throws a fucking Hogan doll into the ring.
And you chuck it out, yeah.
Or whatever. I think he had it, but that double down wasn't supposed to happen. That was total happenstance.
Really?
Yep.
Because with Fonzie and everything...
No, I'm just coming in through underneath the ropes, and he's just turning around. Watch it again. That is a happenstance.
Oh,
No, he
okay.
hits you with the chairs, doesn't?
No, it's the Hogan doll thing.
You
Right
guys-
after that, they pick up the red picks. Oh no, I pick up the Hogan doll and throw it.
So Cactus stands up before the 10 count, and they're about to give it to Cactus, and then out comes Fonzie, right as they're about to call give him the title and call the match for him. And then the heat at this point, when they start to announce...
Dude, I thought I lost the belt. I swear to God, I'm like, was this one of the times I swear to God, watching it a couple hours ago, I thought I was lost.
The crowd pops like Cactus is about to win the title right there. And then Fonzie just cuts it off, and I thought it was awesome.
Wait, how about him coming into the ring with a piece of paper?
Yeah, like,
Yes!
it stays right here.
It's a proclamation. He
Yeah.
found it. It's in a rule book. He had found it in the rule book.
fucking hilarious.
That little...
It's such a spoof, though.
It's the ECW
Paulie knows
encyclopedia.
It's a spoof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just absolute brilliance. Like,
Yes.
absolute brilliance to put Fonzie over like this.
And then have him declare me the winner.
That's
after
right.
He goes like 1, 2, all right, done.
Even more bullshit. So
Yeah, he fumbles through it. Yeah, and he's like fumbling through the words too. It says right here after a 10 count. that
There's
it-
nothing on that page.
yeah, the belt can't change.
What the fuck
Whatever.
was
Yeah.
really on that piece of paper?
It was probably the line, the match card. Fucking
yeah,
line.
Fonzie says that the 10 count rule was not in effect, so the belt could not change hands. And then you just kind of like chuck Cactus out of the ring with some wire thrown up to the floor, and then Fonzie just gives
Yeah,
him-
but what was the reasoning? He got counted out.
Fonzie just
No,
awarded you
he
the
said
match.
he was
credit.
unable to compete to
yeah.
continue.
Yeah,
He said
I
he
was unable to compete.
I know. That's what makes it. That's what makes
You
it.
started choking him
Exactly.
with the barbed wire and then threw him outside, and Fonzie gave him like a quick look and was like, "That's it. You can't continue."
Oh, okay, so at this point, we're talking about the finish. This has nothing to do with Fonzie being Cactus. If you're gonna do a choke out, honestly, to me in my life, I've had Fonzie around the fucking neck and choked him out in a fucking hotel room. Swear to God, Terry Funk's fucking reunion after he burned me on with the back on the iron because I wouldn't get up for the flight. But wait, what was I talking about?
You're talking about the finish of this match.
Oh yeah, something like Cactus. I can't choke you out with the barbed wire, and it happens in like 20 seconds. I said we got to make this last, and I mean, to me, like in my head, it's like, This has got to be like a 2-minute thing.
Watching it, I was thinking that it was a little long, and like Fonzie's like shielding Finnegan, or was it Mono?
Yeah.
It was Mono. He's like,
But I'm
shielding.
trying to go long on purpose, dude. You would choke out a person, dude. I've seen people choke out people in fucking prison. It doesn't take 10, 15 seconds, dude. You gotta fucking wrench their neck for like 2 minutes. And maybe even more just to kill them. So, I don't know.
Maybe.
But in my head, I'm not doing a chokeout spot in 30 seconds. So
Okay.
that's why I wanted it to last. And Cactus kind of agreed to.
Yeah, well,
How come there was no spots with the cane used in the match? No, like
I
wrapping
wondered that too.
it in barbed wire,
I don't
anything
remember.
like you didn't.
that's a good point, Al.
That would have been like
remember,
the
Ollie,
first.
at the end, I was
mean,
like-
the only thing that happened with the cane was woman using it on Cactus
I
at
know.
the
That's
beginning
it.
of the
Very,
match.
very,
you
very-
barely
yeah.
even saw that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, it's like, where was Nancy there and where was the cane? I thought the same exact
Honestly,
thing.
I mean, the way the match went down, I thought the match was really, really awesome for what it
No,
was. and
me
everything.
too. But I thought you could have maybe pulled off something good.
Yeah,
with the
I'm
absolutely.
not
cane.
pulling Nancy in the fucking ring and a barbed wire
Or
thing.
pull a cane out from under the ring that's wrapped in barbed wire.
Something.
Like, you could have done a lot of different things.
Or wrapped it yourself there with the spool or something.
Hit him a couple times with a real cane, he doesn't go down, and then wrap it in barbed wire, and then really he goes down. So you could have done 100 things.
Yeah,
So,
I knew you guys had used chairs in that match, but maybe your thought process was like you just wanted to emphasize the barbed wire and not like the cane that you were actually using was kind of.
yeah, well,
But I like that.
yeah, no, I thought the match was really awesome, and it was just a true spectacle. And it's like, you could imagine, like, picture the wrestling world at this point. Raw is on, Nitro is just starting. It has not yet launched, or it's about to launch. And the wrestling world is a lot different than, what it became. And this ECW is doing a barbed wire match for their world title. Like, that's completely different than anything that you would see in the other wrestling in the United States at this point in time. And it just speaks to the fact why ECW...
Great point. I didn't even really think
It's just,
about it then.
do you know what I mean? The dichotomy of it compared to the other wrestling that you would get. It's like, this is for the real, like, hardcore fans out there. Like, it's something different, man. It's not what you're going to see on cable. It's not what you're going to see on syndication.
A breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air and barbed wire. So,
And hoodies. And chokeslams. And DDTs.
And DDTs.
Oh my.
Barbed wire, hoodies, and chokeslams. I really enjoyed the show. Wasn't a ton of great work rate or
All right,
anything,
well,
but
one thing.
go ahead.
Dude, when I'm done choking him and I grab him and I throw him and he rolls outside, hell of a bump.
Oh my God!
I thought he thought that the barbed wire would like stop him a little bit.
Not at all.
He had like zero protection.
I mean, Mick.
Oh no, he
I was
just
like,
threw
whoa.
himself out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Mick,
I mean,
seriously.
I'm barely touching him right. It's
No, yeah,
his-
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
his
He threw
bump.
himself
I'm not
out there,
pulling on him
yeah.
hard at all.
He did some of the craziest bumps that you will ever see for his size and everything. It's amazing that he made it to
Couldn't hurt
like
that, dude.
to 99 to have the run that he did in 99 in WWF, because like he was bumping his ass off for 8-9 years off of aprons, and for his size, for his hips, his knees, it's like, it's honestly insane. So shouts out to Mick Foley, absolute freaking legend, man. Yeah, bang bang. That's a great way to end it.
Good job, Ollie.
That was the show this week. I hope you guys watch this, because it's definitely some really cool work there. As always, send in listener questions to sandmanpod@gmail.com. We do have a number this week, so buckle up here. Matthew R. writes in, he did not provide us with a town. All right.
Loser.
Loser.
Piss.
What are some of your favorite finishers other than yours? And second question, how was it being on the road away from family and friends? Was the adjustment tough, or did you just go with it?
Just went with it, did a ton of drugs. And finishers, I don't know, sleeper hold.
Sleeper hold, DDT, chokeslam.
Hoodies.
And hoodies. Who farted from the Golden Dome?
The Golden Dome.
That's Pittsburgh.
Is that Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it's
I was going to
Pittsburgh.
say that's Pittsburgh.
Lizard,
Who farted is, he's always liking our shit on Instagram, man. You're a legend.
No
who
pun
farted.
intended.
Yeah, we smell you over here, bro.
Not liking our shit on.
Hey, Hack. I think this is the most obvious, important lifter question. Since Taz is the shortest midget in the history of wrestling, to your knowledge, has he ever attempted to use lifters? Love the pod. Keep up the blatant hostility.
Nah, he's an idiot.
Oh, no lifter.
I don't think I ever remember Taz
Nah,
wearing
Hack
lifters.
keeps it real, man. And I love Taz, so Hack can say what he wants about him, but Taz is the fucking man.
Well, you're an idiot too.
Andy Lawler from Birmingham, Alabama writes in,
Jerry's cousin.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Question for the Sandman. Besides yourself, of course, who was the legit toughest dude in the ECW locker room? You can only...
Tracy Smothers at RVD.
Wow. Okay. You throw Rob in there. All right. Awesome. Bob from
If you watch the A&E documentary, you'll know why.
Does he tell the Pick Which Hand story?
He does not, but he.
You'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see. I'll have to watch it. I have to DVR it.
Something I learned.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
You guys talk. Bob from Broomall writes in.
All right, yo, Bobby.
Bobby, you guys talk a lot about dancing on the shows. I was wondering if Hack could give his Mount Rushmore of dancing gimmicks. Keep up the great work. This is my favorite podcast. Where is the damn merch? Coming soon, Bob.
I don't know what he means
Dancing
by
gimmicks.
Dancing gimmicks like Disco Inferno and those kind of guys. Guys who dance.
Is there even enough gimmicks for?
Oh, you have
trying to
Alex
think of
Wright.
it.
You have Disco
Okay.
Inferno.
What about the Worm?
Scotty Too Hotty.
Scotty Too Hotty and Rikishi.
Oh, Rikishi, too cool. Okay, so there you go. What about Danny Garcia right now?
All right. Yeah.
No, you can't just move your hips.
What about Public Enemy? There you go. That's a dance.
I know you can't just wave your arms.
What about you?
What do you want to see? Ballroom
Breaking it down in the
dancing?
middle of the ring.
I'm the best opposite.
So you're all four of the people on Mount Rushmore?
Alex Wright was pretty funny.
Alex Wright was awesome, man. Like,
I forgot about him.
that's
when he
Wonder
come out in the
Kid.
they came out in the leather jacket.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, he was awesome, man.
He was back then.
Okay.
And he could work, too.
What about Curry Man? You ever watch Curry Man? Christopher Daniels in Japan? Okay, I got to show you after the show. You don't know what you're talking about here, man. I'm such a mark.
Mark. Christopher Daniels getting jiggy with it.
Oh, he does, man. He does.
I know.
Johnny from San Antonio writes in, "What's good, Sandpack? My question for Hack.
Sandpack.
My question for Hack this week is as follows: Back in '99, when he left Turner, was there ever any interest in bringing Hack to New York? Hack was an absolute unit after digging into Scott Steiner's bag during his time in Atlanta."
That's great.
That's very
Yes, I
funny.
was cut, ripped, chiseled, and jacked.
So more like a fathead.
Yeah, so to Johnny's question, though, was there ever any interest from WWF?
Zero.
You say zero interest. Okay.
Zero.
Raven also spent a few months back in ECW after splitting from Turner, but ultimately ended up in New York. If there wasn't any interest in 99-2000, could it have been because Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing the beer gimmick? Steve wasn't really in the company when Hack finally linked a contract with WWE in 2006. I think Hack would have had a better fit in the company back in 2000 with the WWE's focus on the hardcore division. As always, keep up the awesome work. I look forward to weekly listens on the Sandman pod to start my week. Only downside is having to wait a week for new episodes. So, do you think that had anything to do with it? Like Austin
What the
being
fuck
there?
was the question?
The question is, he's saying because Austin has the same gimmick and you have a lot of the same things. Do you think Austin being
Oh
the
yeah,
top?
SummerSlam, he screwed me the one year. Austin's coming back, and all of a sudden Johnny Ace is telling me, like, it's SummerSlam, whatever, August. He's telling me, like, May, he's like, you gotta stop coming out with the beer.
Because Austin's coming in the summer.
So
Two guys can't enjoy beer. Like,
maybe at 2000 at that point there might have been a little
Yeah, they should have had a match.
hesitation.
kid, you can't be drinking beer.
Yeah.
all right, that was that was my poor attempt.
Thanks for listening, brother. Keep sending in questions.
Yeah, definitely send them in, Johnny. Up next, another John from Earth, PA.
Earth?
Yeah. Earth, PA. It's
Like
real-
EARTH?
Yeah, EARTH. That's what it says.
All right.
Not sure if you watched WWF, WCW when you were in ECW, but were there any men or women in these promotions that you thought would be a good fit in prime ECW?
No, probably tons.
Probably tons.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, say. But what year are we talking about?
Were you even watching
When you were in
wrestling then?
ECW, like, were you watching other wrestling? Were you ever like flipping the channels and like, man, I wish they were here?
No,
Or like seeing what they were doing
Early,
and trying to like
from let's say I started in '90, so from '90 to like '96, yes. But then we moved out to Utah. I was doing the concrete stuff and everything. So then I lost some years like watching any of it.
Okay.
Basically, the prime ECW years, you weren't really watching anything else. Yeah.
John also added, don't say this until his answer, but plus 750 for no one. John, you just hit the jackpot there with that plus 750.
For the what? For what?
I don't know what.
He said, don't say this until his answer, but plus 750 for no one. He was betting that you would say no one.
all right.
That was his
all
joke.
right. Cash that
All right,
in.
well, cash it. I hope you cash it in.
Yeah,
I
you
forgot
guys-
the question.
good luck getting money off this guy. He still owes me like $250, I guess, now with interest for some of the stuff. Yeah, that's right, Hack. You got the shock face there. All right, guys. Next week's episode, we are doing all-time personal favorite Mount Rushmore. I can't wait for this
And,
one.
man.
what about will we be seeing Forbidden Door by then?
We will be seeing Forbidden Door by then, so it's going to be a combo. We're going to be reviewing AEW's Forbidden Door and our all-time personal favorite Mount Rushmore. Definitely like, share, review. Follow us on Twitter at Sandman Pod and The Sandman Pod on Instagram. But before we go, as always...
Nope, done, none.
What? You don't have
What are
anyone?
you talking about?
There's
How
none.
can-
Do your homework, loser.
Yeah, seriously, put some work in
I
here.
know. I can't put work into something that if it doesn't just come to me.
Okay.
I'm not going to go search for something. If I had to search for something, I would say the Reese chick playing a badass game against the Fever last night and putting Caitlin Clark in her place.
Angel
If I
Reese
had-
and the.
if I
That-
had to search for something,
That would
I
be your
could
toast.
say that.
That would be your toast of the week. Well, we don't want to force it. That's not a real toast. That's not a real toast.
Right.
We're not gonna.
If it doesn't come to me, it doesn't
Yeah, if
come
it
to
doesn't,
me.
listen, guys. Hack's a real dude. If he doesn't come to him, he's not going to say it. So, as always, check us out. Give us a follow, like, share, review, and get ready for that merch. It's coming soon.
Peace.
Peace.